Not every children gonna enjoy this video, but parents, you surely will. Hey everyone, Tesh here. Welcome back to another video. And today I'm gonna be telling you how to keep your children away from all the adult content on the internet. And with that said, let's get into it. Before we get into the video, if you want to directly know the setting to block all the A content on the internet, you can directly jump to this timestamp. But if you want to know the reason behind how exactly doing that can block all the adult content on the internet, you definitely need to watch this video in 5 seconds. Skip to the timestamp if you want. 5, 4, 1. Those who of you remain, thank you so much. And let me tell you about DNS, which is the main ingredient behind this whole concept of blocking the content online. So what is a DNS? Generally, all the websites on the internet are recognized and remembered in the form of IP addresses. So if you want to open some website like YouTube, you definitely need to give your computer the IP address of YouTube, so your computer can reach to YouTube's server and can load up the website. But now we as humans, it is very hard for us to remember the IP address of every single website that we visit in our daily life. So there needs to be some kind of a solution, right? And there comes DNS, which stands for domain name system. Generally what it does is it assigns a unique domain for each and every website. So the domain name will be very easy to remember and it is understandable. Like we can tell the website by looking at the domain name, like youtube.com. It is very easy to remember the domain name of YouTube, which is youtube.com, than to remember the tricky IP address of youtube.com. But still, when you want to open some website, your computer still needs to know the IP address of that website. There is no doubt in that. But it is hard for us to remember the IP address, right? It all comes down to square one. So there needs to be some kind of a mediator that can convert the domain name that we can remember into the IP address that computers can understand. And that mediator is called a DNS server, which is a domain name server. A domain name server is like a database of domain names and corresponding IP addresses of all the websites. So when you want the IP address of certain website, you can give the domain name of that website and can get the IP address of that website in return. For example, when you search for youtube.com, your computer will send a DNS query to a DNS server for youtube.com, and the DNS server will search for youtube.com throughout its database, and when it finds youtube.com, it will return the IP address corresponding to youtube.com to your computer. So now your computer has the IP address of YouTube and your computer can reach YouTube server and can load up the site. So I hope you got what a DNS is and how DNS servers work. And there are a lot of DNS servers. Some companies has their own DNS servers, like Airtel has their own and Jio has their own, and there are dedicated DNS servers like Google DNS, OpenDNS, Code9 and Cloudflare DNS, and there is a DNS called Clean Browsing, aka family friendly, and this is the DNS server that we are going to be using today for blocking all the malicious and all the adult content related websites on the internet. So how exactly does this DNS server block all the adult content on the internet? By now you must have got that a DNS server is a must peer in accessing any kind of website. Whatever the website you want to access, you have to send a DNS request to a DNS server, and that DNS server will give the IP address in return, right? Now what this clean browsing DNS does is, when it gets a DNS request that is related to any kind of malicious or any kind of adult content on the internet, it will simply deny the access for that website and return an error saying the site cannot be reached. So your children can be away from all the adult content on the internet using this DNS server. But now let me show you how to set the DNS server, and let me try to open some adult content website on the internet and let's see whether it is blocking that website or not. So let's open Chrome or whatever browser you are using and go to settings, and then find this option called privacy and security, and then go to security. Scroll down till you find this option called use secure DNS. It is turned off by default, and turn it on, and by default it will be set to current service provider, and click this customized one, and from this drop down menu clean this select this clean browsing DNS. As you can see, it has Google DNS, Cloudflare DNS, and Open DNS, and clean browsing DNS. We're going to be using this clean browsing DNS for blocking all the adult content on the internet. And so now let's open incognito and let's me search for contab. Let's see whether it works or not. And as you can see, this says this site cannot be reached. And let me also search another website. Let's see Triple H. And also, as you can see, this site can't be reached, and DNS probe finished, and next domain, whatever. It doesn't only block the domains that are dedicated to such kind of a content, but it can also block subdomains that contains this adult content. Like there is a subreddit called con. I guess you got what con means, and it has all the adult content on that. And let me search for that. reddit.com/r/con. I'm sorry, I really searched for con, and as you can see, it says I am refreshing and this site cannot be reached. So it blocks all the domains and subdomains that can expose your children to any kind of a content on the internet. And I got a doubt. Does using a VPN can bypass this DNS? Let me also search that. Let's open Proton VPN. It finally opened. Thank God it finally opened. So let me connect to some US server. It connected to a US server, and let me try that once again. So let me open this and this con tab. Let me refresh this. So it's still saying this site cannot be reached, and let me refresh this one also. So as you can see, even using a VPN cannot bypass this DNS server. So your children will be completely safe from this. Yes, I don't know how exactly they managed to do this, but yeah, even using a VPN cannot bypass this DNS server. So make this change on your laptop. Even if you give your children a mobile phone, this is the same process. Go to settings on whatever browser you are using and find security and privacy. In that, select the option for using a custom DNS, and from the drop down menu select clean browsing DNS, and you are set to go. But if you don't want to do all this stuff, you can just download clean browsing DNS app from Play Store, and you can just turn it on and it will apply the DNS for all the apps that you are using in your mobile phone. Certainly I don't think it has a desktop app. You just need to select that from your browser itself. So just make this setting on all your phones and all the browsers that you use in your laptop, and your children is safe to go. I don't say children gonna open these websites on purpose, but in this era of online classes, we hand over our smartphones and laptops to our children in the home. Not my children, but your children. I don't have children. I'm still a child. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, please share this video with your friends and family, especially to those parents who has their children working on their laptops and smartphones all the day. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that said, catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.